this car that I reviewed in this video is available to win. All you have to do is My name is Nismo Nick, and this is a 2019 Nissan GTR Track Edition. But if you're into Nissans, or even cars in general, you might not know what year this is because this car came out in 2009 and has basically remained unchanged other than some trim levels, some performance upgrades. And now that it's 2023, what's coming for the Nissan GTR? What's next? In this video, I'm going to show you everything about this GTR that I love, things that I don't love, and if you follow me to the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to win this exact 2019 Nissan GTR Track Edition. So make sure you like and subscribe, and let's continue about the GTR. So if you're into cars, you know what this is. It's a Nissan GTR. Back in 2009 when this car came out, it was a huge deal for Nissan. I mean, 2009 Nissan, what did they have that was cool? Not much. The 370Z had just come out as a replacement for the 350, and I mean, you had what? The Versa hatchback? So picture it. It's 2009, and you have now walked into a Nissan showroom to buy a Sentra. But there's this car, this all-wheel drive twin-turbo monster. No one knew what it was. Some people did, the cool people. We all know that the Skyline GTR is a huge car for Nissan, just in Japan. We all know the heritage that car had back in the 70s and how special that car was. We also fell in love with that car in 2000 when the R34 Skyline was in, we all know a movie, The Fast and the Furious. Paul Walker made that car famous. So did Gran Turismo. We all had PlayStation, we all played the game, and we all picked that car. So when Nissan decided to bring the GTR to the US, it's a pretty big deal. So some things that I have always loved about the R35 GTR is the fact that it is just highly moddable. There are tons of things you can do to this car. I mean, that's kind of what you do with a Nissan is you modify it. You make it your own. Back when the car came out, Nissan actually had a pamphlet saying not to modify the car, but we all knew we were going to. Being that this car has been out since 2009 on the same platform with basically the same interior and basically the same car on the outside, it made it easy to have tons and tons of accessories and parts and different ways to make the GTR your own. So when the Nissan GTR came to the US, it brought some really awesome styling. I think so. Yes, we all loved the R34 and the R33, and we loved that styling, but this was a really new car for Nissan at the time. I mean, I can't believe they built it. Did it have the iconic, two-door shape of the R34 and the R33 and the R32? It didn't. It didn't look quite like that iconic car that we have all fell in love with. But now that this car is, 14 years old, I think it's aged really well. I think that Nissan's done a really good job at updating it with different bumpers and different headlights and different taillights. But has that been enough? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can tune it and you can make it faster, and that's what Nissan's done. Nissan's done different packages, different trim levels, different versions. We had the 50th anniversary. You had the Track. You have the Nismo. You have the Black Edition. But was that enough to keep it competitive? I don't know. I love the Nissan GTR, but I've never owned one because I've never really needed to. It's not been a car that I have to have. Even as a huge Nissan enthusiast, I would rather have an R34. I just think that car is special, and that just might be my age group. That might be me, playing my PlayStation, picking that car because that was the car to have. Watching Fast and Furious and falling in love with that car on screen, that might be why I have that nostalgia with that car. I've always loved the GTR. I just don't know if it's, something that I need to have. Would it be cool to have one? Absolutely. Would I mod it? Of course I would. I would do all kinds of things to my GTR. The problem I have with it is Nissan has kept it around so long without updating it. I mean, this is a 2019 car, it doesn't have a blind spot. I mean, that might not sound like a huge deal, but that modern technology isn't there. But on the flip side, that could be a really good thing. Having an analog sports car is kind of a thing of the past almost. I mean, everything's gone to electronic assisted this and safety feature that and parking sensor this, and this car doesn't have it. This is a car you get in and you have a lot of fun. You go to track days, you go to car meets, and it's a car that everybody still has their head turned when it pulls up. So what is a Nissan GTR? Well, it's probably the coolest thing that Nissan's made in a very long time and maybe will probably ever make. It's their halo car. You have a twin-turbo V6, you have all-wheel drive, you've got this really just sinister look to it. It looks aggressive, muscular fenders, huge brakes. When you see it pull up, you know that there's something going on with this car. Even stock, it just is a monster. Some things that I love about the Nissan GTR, the butt, the iconic styling, the round taillights, the gigantic quad titanium exhaust, this dry carbon fiber wing. I mean, on a Nissan, it's just crazy to think that Nissan actually built this car and has been building it for 14 years. Whenever I see these taillights just drive on past me, I still smile. Probably one of my favorite things about the Nissan GTR is how it sounds. That quad exhaust, especially when it's set up with the titanium exhaust, I mean, just listen to that exhaust. So just because I'm Nismo Nick and I love Nissan, doesn't mean I love everything about them. And one thing that drives me crazy about the Nissan GTR, it's the door handle. I don't understand. I know they tried to do something different and something cool, but you have to push it in and then pull it, and it's just awkward. Like in a rainstorm when you're running and you got to get in your car fast, I'm slipping and I'm falling on the ground because I can't grab my door handle. I mean, there had to have been a cooler door handle that Nissan could have come up with. So let me talk about my love and my hate relationship with Nissan. This is a $100,000 car when it came out. This one was $130,000 when it came out. Nissan. We've got buttons out of my Xterra. We've got a key that goes to what? A base Versa? You've got heated seat buttons from what? 1998? And I get it. I get that you had to cost cut to make this car for the price point that it's at. I do. I really do. But Nissan. Another thing about the Nissan GTR, and well, every other Nissan in the world, is the navigation system. I swear to God, Nissan uses maps from the Oregon Trail. I really do. I'm convinced of it. This navigation could bring me to the prairie. I mean, it's grainy, old, and this is a 2019 car, Nissan. Update your maps. So let's talk about what the Nissan GTR is on the inside. Is it 2 seats? No, it's 4. It's 4 seats, but the back seats don't really exist. I mean, if you don't have legs, they exist. Could you put a car seat back there? Probably not. Could you put an umbrella back there? Maybe. But the reason the back seats are there are, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do. It's because of insurance. I mean, when you have a 4-seater car, it just insures just a little bit better. Or is that a myth? But anyway, once you get inside the Nissan GTR, it's actually not the worst place to be. You have some really cool Recaro seats that are very comfortable. They hold you because obviously we've got tons of horsepower. You have gauges that are very analog. They are very analog. Fancy LCD screens? No. Heads-up display? Nope, not that. But they work. And that's okay. This car is a driver's car. This car is meant to be driven on a track. This car is something, as enthusiasts call a fun car. And it is. It is a very fun car that functions as a performance car with things that are not modern, but they work, right? So who was the GTR built for? Was it built for enthusiasts? Was it built as a halo car for the Nissan brand? Who buys the Nissan GTR? Well, a few people do. People with daddy money buy the GTR. People that are successful and love Japanese sports car buy the GTR. People love to buy them pre-owned and trash them on tracks. This car was meant for the enthusiast. It was not a car that everybody could attain. Now you can because there's tons of them. When this car was new in 2009, the GTR had a base price around the $90,000 mark. And in 2009, that was huge money for a Nissan. Now you're starting off at $16,000 if you can even find a 2023 GTR. And then if you find the Nismo, you're looking at $280,000 $213,000 for a Nissan GTR. But let's talk about what you get for $213,000. You get a car nobody else has. You get the exclusivity, which is, a huge thing nowadays, having something special, having something unique. And oddly enough, these GTRs have held their value in a way that I never could have predicted. You find a 2009 GTR with 70,000 miles and it's still 60 grand for a used Nissan GTR. That's huge money. So what's next for the Nissan GTR? Well, 2024 is bringing a new model. It's really not a new model, it's a refresh. Again, new front bumper, new rear bumper, a new color, new interior, and the Nismo is just a little bit more hardcore, although the Nismo is really not going to be seen by anybody. After 2024, my prediction is that the car is going to stop production for a couple years. I think that Nissan is going to go some sort of hybrid technology with the car because a lot of cars in this category are going that route. I think that the car is going to retain some of its enthusiast qualities, but I think that it's going to have to get a little bit more modern. Let's talk about the new Nissan Z. The new Nissan Z has front and rear automatic braking and blind spot and digital dashes and all of those things that make the car feel new. Even in a 2023 model, you get CarPlay. That's a thing, right? However, I think that for this car to remain, competitive with its, other competitors, they're going to have to really step this car up. I think that it's going to have more power, more technology. Yeah, it's going to have safety features, and it's going to have to, evolve. I'm really, really hoping that the next Nissan GTR completely ditches this style. I think that this model run of 2009 through 2024 has been long enough. I think we need a huge change. And what I would love to see is Nissan do what they did with the Z. Let's take everything that we love about every GTR, that R34, that original Skyline in the 70s. Let's put that all together and have that car. That is a Nissan GTR that I would buy. And those are my thoughts on the Nissan GTR. Is it a perfect car? Absolutely not. But is it a whole bunch of fun? Yeah. And I am so excited for what's to come in the next generation of the GTR. And speaking of the GTR, this car that I reviewed in this video is available to win. All you have to do is go to shoptechbuds.com, and every dollar that you spend will give you 5 entries towards putting this Track Edition in your driveway. And if you want to put this car in your driveway, I don't blame you, because the Nissan GTR is a car that I want in my driveway.